You are in your house or apartment. There is a large spider on the ceiling. What do? Do you hit it with a tennis racket? Do you move? Like what? How do you take care of this?
I actually panicked when you said that as if there was one here. I thought you were telling me
Yeah, I
there was
actually
one.
stuck into
I
your
was
houses
like,
and put spiders. I want to see a real reaction. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch Our Pass. Today I'm talking to Joanne Froggatt and Samuel Adewunmi from Angela Black, which is coming to Spectrum and Spectrum On Demand on February 7th, 2022. We're going to talk to them right now, and while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. It helps me out a lot. Thank you. Hi, thanks so much for joining me. This is Joanne Froggatt and Samuel Adewunmi from Angela Black, which is coming to Spectrum and Spectrum On Demand on February 7th, 2022. It is an intense drama that has a little bit of a twist partway through that I really enjoyed, and I hope you will as well, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
I guess the first question is, what drew you to this series? Like, what? It's a serious role. It's kind of more heavy and dramatic. So, what was it about this series and these roles that drew you to
them? For me, I've been lucky enough to work with Jack and Harry, our writers, before. Which was a fantastic experience, and I love working with them. And when they said they had a script to send me, I was super excited. They sent me the first 3 episodes, and I sat and read all 3 episodes back to back in one sitting. It was such a page turner, I just couldn't put it down. And that's always a good sign. So you always hope the audience will feel the same when they're sat viewing it at home. And yeah, Angela was a fascinating character to play, because when we meet her, she's very much a woman who has sort of lost herself, and she's lost her voice and her sense of self and her confidence and her everything, really. And through the course of our story, she goes on such a roller coaster journey of almost being broken down further to then be able to rebuild herself and ultimately change her situation. So for an actor, it's just a great challenge to play her, and I thought a subject matter that Jack and Harry handled incredibly sensitively.
Sam, what drew you to the character of Ed? Because he's an interesting one. I really like him. He's got a lot of mystery to him that must have been fun to play, but also tough to bring out.
Yeah, I think that was it for me. I just when we meet Ed, I was really intrigued by him. I was very curious about why he was getting involved in Angela's life, and yeah, there's just so much mystery and sort of surrounded by well, there's a lot of mystery surrounding him, and so yeah, that's always really fun to try and like flesh out as an actor. And I had a great relationship previously with our director Craig Veros, and so when he sort of entrusted me with taking on the character, I felt very like emboldened. And so yeah, we just had lots of chats about sort of trying to play this character in a very truthful and honest way, trying to imbue him with lots of empathy, which I think sort of any normal person would have if they knew what Angela was going through behind closed doors. But of course, there's with it sort of being this Hitchcockian style show, there's always some kind of twist or turn to come later down the road. And so yeah, sort of knowing that not everything was as it seems with this character was also just really fun and really exciting. And I think it added to the thriller element of the show. As much as we're very much engrossed in Angela's plight and her relationship with Olivier, there's this other guy that's also involved in Ed. That's just, no matter how much we try to figure him out, we never really can. And then of course, more of his sort of real motives and intentions are revealed as the show progresses. But yeah, for me initially, it was just that exciting feeling to play someone that on the page you don't know, and so that kind of just gives you a real challenge as an actor, which I love.
Yeah, that's awesome. And my next question was gonna be, how'd you prepare? So it sounds like you had a lot of good chats with the director and kind of added that mystery. Joanne, how did you prepare for this character? Because she is, like you said, very kind of reserved. She's lost her voice at the start and then kind of slowly opens up as the series progresses. So how did you prepare for this type of a role?
I did a lot of research. I read 3 books. One by a woman called Mandy Thomas called You Can't Run, one by Katie Piper called Beautiful, and one by Melanie B called Brutally Honest. And all very, very differing accounts of their own personal experiences with domestic abuse, psychological and physical, in very different circumstances. Women's Aid is a British charity who support victims of domestic abuse, and they were on board with our show from the very beginning and helped Jack and Harry during the script writing stages with advice. And when I came on board, were very kind to do the same with me and point me in the direction of really useful research material. I spoke to a couple of their counsellors as well. I watched a lot of documentaries. So I just immersed myself in as much information as I could, really, to try and build a sort of a psychological profile, if you will, of Angela, and build her personality and her situation in my head, specific to our story.
That sounds like, I mean, it's necessary for this role, but that also sounds like a brutal amount of research, like just kind of experiencing all those stories and trying to like get that base of knowledge. It must have been tough. I mean, it's obviously necessary and it paid off in the series, but that must have been a tough kind of role to research.
Yeah, I feel like if I take on a role like Angela Black, I feel like it's a huge responsibility when you take on a role that is centered around a very sensitive subject matter. And when I've taken on previous roles around sensitive subject matters in my career, I do really feel that sense of responsibility. And I know when I take it on board that I will do everything within my power to give the most honest performance that I can give. So that's my commitment to the project, I guess, when I take it on board.
Definitely. And so this film deals with some pretty heavy subject matter and some psychological twists as well. What was it like on set? I mean, was it I don't know, somber? Was it kind of more lighthearted because you kind of had to deal with what you were actually filming and acting? Like, how was that feel on set? Hopefully somewhere in between.
She was always having her headphones in, being really miserable. No, if I've got I like to have fun, but if I've got very emotional scenes, I have to really concentrate, and I often put my headphones in, just listen to music, not because it makes me sad, but just to kind of zone out what's going on set and stuff, and just to really focus. And obviously when you take on a role like this, there's a lot of that involved. So, there were lots of times where I was sort of having to be just super focused on set. But, for me, when I did have the opportunity to have light moments, I did take them, because you need to do that as well, for yourself. But yeah, Sam, what was your experience?
Yeah, Sam, what about you?
I mean, I have more emotional stuff to do than Sam did. So yeah, it's a different kind of.
Yeah. I think you found the balance really, really well, Jo. Testament to Jo, the fact that she's taken on such a intense and a very dark sort of story, and the character that's going through a very challenging circumstance. But every morning, very much the opposite to me. She was just so bright and such a delight to be around. And I think anyone in the crew and in the cast would attest to that. Which I think is so challenging because, like I said, it's a very dark subject matter. And, when she needed to, she'd go off and listen to her headphones, and you completely understood, and you give her a space. And in between takes, she'd crack a little joke here and there where she could. And I think we just had a very sort of, again, we shot during the pandemic. And I think that kind of raised everyone's level of compassion. And so, it was just a very sort of light sort of set to be around, as much as it was heavy. The actors that needed to go into that space and be heavy, they were given their space, and they'll do that. But for the most part, I think it was a really nice environment to be around, and I think that always starts from the top down. And so, I've worked with Craig Viveros before, a really great director, really intuitive and an intelligent director, and he also just understands the energy that's needed. And so, he has a great energy, and it just sort of fed down through the cast and the crew. But yeah, Jo was a very big part of that, because for me it was really easy. I was just coming in every once in a while, and I was kind of just silly. I was just silly when I came in and busting silly jokes and stuff at inappropriate times. But yeah, it was a really, really nice set to be a part of.
That's good. It sounds like there was a nice balance. I mean, your character is like, I just had to, be there and be cool and like be mysterious. So that's easy for me. So
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. Exactly
all right, I
that.
got time for one more question. You are in your house or apartment. There is a large spider on the ceiling. What do you do? Do you hit it with a tennis racket? Do you move? Like how do you take care of this?
I actually panicked when you said that, as if there was one here. I thought you were telling me.
Yeah, I
there
actually
was
stuck
one.
into your
I was
house
like,
and put spiders. I want to see a real reaction.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know what I
terrified
do,
of spiders.
I'm the kind of person I don't like to kill them. So I'd like to have the bravery to take them outside, but like I don't. So I just leave them and I pretend they're not there and I go into another room and then once they've disappeared, I'm like outside out of mind,
It's their house. That's my spider bro. He can stay for a
Exactly.
while.
Exactly, man. Put up some popcorn back to watch a film.
John, would you prefer not to answer? You can choose not to answer. That's perfectly fine.
Depends on the spider. It's very spider dependent because I am terrified of spiders. But if it's like a really big house spider, I can't deal with it. I literally run out of the house, or I'm afraid I get the Hoover out.
Yep. All good options. Awesome.
Well, often they stay alive in my Hoover, and then I empty it outside in the bin, and that has happened many a time. So I have a Hoover without a bag, so I can pick the spider up in the Hoover and put it. If it's big enough, it's okay.
Very humane. Very humane. I like it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. This is Joanne Froggatt and Samuel Adewunmi from Angela Black, which is coming to theaters on it's coming to Spectrum and Spectrum on Demand on February 7th, 2022. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
Yes, David.
That was Joanne Froggatt and Samuel Adewunmi of Angela Black, which is coming to Spectrum and Spectrum on Demand on February 7th, 2022. It's a 6-part miniseries that has a lot of psychological elements and a really good twist halfway through. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. And please check out my other content. I've got other reviews, interviews, unboxing videos, and recommendations. Thank you.